So there's a lot of cute devices out there on the market right now that'll keep your phone charged. But would you do this with any of them?
Or this. 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 Or this. Oh, look at that. That popped open.
Internal still work. Uh-oh, flashlight's not working. Okay, let's see if this thing charges. Today, taking a look at the Poseidon Charger by Dark Energy. Let's take a closer look. Let's start by looking at some of the details on this. And you can see we got a carabiner up top. It is a locking beater. You can see the gate's not swinging open. You move this down and that gate will swing open. So you can carry this on your pack if you want. And of course you can run this up and lock it just in case to add that extra piece of security. Here's a nice piece of webbing that you can attach to the Poseidon itself. I'm not gonna take this off and show you, but I wanna bring it up because I think it's a great detail that they've looked at. And this webbing with the loop is actually curved. And what that does is when you loop it in here, it just makes it for a nice continuous flow. So to me, you know, instead of having the webbing twisted and all nasty looking, it's just one of those small details that the company has looked at that impresses me. Generally, when a company does small details like that, that's going to transfer over into the quality of the product. Now, let's take a closer look at the construction of this thing, and this thing is just about bomb-proof. These things will really take a licking, and we'll get into that a little bit more. The door, you can see it's got your 2 USB ports, one right here sitting at 2.4 amps, one right here sitting at 1 amp. You're charging, and yes, we do have a flashlight. So there's the insides. You can see right here, these kind of rubberized so that goes in there and seals. Yes, this is waterproof. And that's really what I wanted to test most because I think that's what most people are gonna come across or potentially be a problem for electronics, at least for me in my travels, that has been the case. And on this side, you've got a button. This will highlight how much battery life you have. You can see right now I've got 3 out of the 4 bars there. And then on this side, you've got your flashlight. What you've got press once for on, press again for SOS mode, and then press a third time to turn the light off. Another feature I wanted to draw to your attention is this outside portion. You can see this orange piece right here. This extends out so that if you're dropping this on the corner, this is going to take the brunt of what's going on. That's in part what makes this thing so durable. You see that's on all 4 corners. And while I'm thinking about it, you can see the Realtree camo. This also comes in a all black version as well. Those are the 2 options you have. Now let's take a look at the cord here. This is a water resistant cord, not a waterproof cord, but a water resistant cord. And you can see they've got that Cobra stitch on there, which is kind of cool. So you've got about 20 feet of paracord right there, should you choose to use it. But here's another thing. I mean, they know their market. They know what they're doing. You can see the cord here. This is the type of charger you've got that at least comes with it. It's going to fit most of your standard type phones these days. But you've got these little rubberized tail caps just to keep all the junk, dirt, and dust out of those ports. Again, they know their market, they know what we're going to be doing, so it's going to keep this, at least these ends, clean and free from dust. And this seems to be very flexible and pliable. You can see how much this cord will actually bend, and that's going to be important as well, because when you're trying to find pockets to put this stuff in your packs, the thing just crumples up and it'll go in there quite well. And you can see we've got a quite long cord here, which is pretty nice and comes in handy. Let's look at the size of this thing real quick. Here is a Samsung Galaxy. This is the S4. So you can see this is really about the size of a cell phone. Not terribly much bigger. And the back side there. The weight on this thing, you know what, the weight escapes me. I'm gonna have to annotate that at this time. I can't remember. But now let's jump into what it can charge. Obviously, just showed you, it can charge a smartphone, it can charge a two-way radio, GPS, tablet, Bluetooth speaker, trail cam, rangefinder. And one thing that's really, really important for me, this right here, this is my GoPro battery. These suck. These really don't last a long time, especially my GoPro is always accidentally getting turned on and the batteries drain pretty quickly. So it's nice that I can have, I don't know how many charges of the GoPro I can get, but I can get quite a bit on this. And that's another thing I want to touch on is oftentimes when I've dealt with types of chargers in the past, both what my wife has purchased as well as myself, the company has claims of how many times it will charge a cell phone or a tablet, for example. So I want to hit on the cell phone real quick, and they say it'll charge a cell phone, a smartphone, about 3 to 6 times. I'm always skeptical of those because I've never seen a place, or very rarely, that I've seen a place that actually does what it says it's going to do. So these guys say 3 to 6 times, and what I found out in charging my phone is, yep, they're right in the market with that. It'll actually do it 4 times. So from charging my phone from almost dead, probably around the 10% range, it charged it 4 times. So it was nice to see that it actually fell within the range that the company actually claimed. What would this be good for? For me, camping. When I go camping with the family, somebody always needs some charging. So it's nice to have something like this on hand to supplement some of that charging. Another thing is car trips. You know, my wife and I, we dominate the cigarette lighter with charging our devices, and me, with the many kids that I have, they like to bring their electronics too. So this would be great to hand back to them so they can kind of stay juiced up during that trip. Another place I can see this is traveling. So those who do traveling know that some airports are fantastic with ports everywhere or outlets everywhere to do your charging. Other airports, they're okay. You can see the masses huddled around the only outlets available. Sometimes they're a little bit of biting and kicking, trying to get in there and get their devices charged. And other airports are just horrible. They're not updated and you can't find places at all. This would come in extremely handy in those cases, as well as long flights. I took a long flight a little while ago, and it would have been really nice to have this on hand to keep my phone charged during that flight. Now, this is something I'm really excited to talk about, and that is the testing of this thing. So one of the areas I wanted to focus on is moisture. I think what most people are going to come across, and what I've come across in just be it rivers or just be it really rainy, snowy, and just a very high moisture content in the air. I've had cameras shut down on me because it's been so moist in the air. So I took this thing and threw it in 2 rivers on multiple times. And one time, and I want to talk about this door because this door construction is really good, but what happened is, as I was twirling this thing around, you can actually see it in the video, just barely, but you can see that it's popped open. And this whole time, I've been tossing this thing in the river with this door open. So I don't have a seal on these ports. Now, what must have happened, because this door actually shuts and it shuts tight, it takes some good force to pop that open, which it should, because it's protecting the insides of this thing. I got out of my car. I was in a hurry. It was actually a really bad day. I'm trying to get to the spot where I'm going to do some filming. And I think what I did is I took it out of the car, because actually I leave this in the car and it comes in real handy in various situations. But I think I must have just shut it barely, just like that. I didn't snap it shut. So now, as I'm twirling this thing around, it pops open just a hair. Or probably I never even closed it. And then as I'm dragging it back up out of the river, it opened up, and that's when I noticed. And I went, oh boy, this is going to be interesting, because now I've been dropping it in not only a river, but a very freezing cold river. And I turned on the battery. Yeah, that worked. And then I went back in, plugged in the charger, and put it in my phone, and to my disappointment, it didn't work. So we'll see. Internal still work. Uh-oh, flashlight's not working. Okay, let's see if this thing charges. Nope. So I thought, oh boy, it didn't work. And I thought, well, it was kind of my own stupid fault for not latching the door. But I did read somewhere that there is a slight a bit of moisture resistance or waterproofness even with this door open. And I thought, well, I guess this was just too much for it. Well, I got home and I walked in the door. I thought, I'm going to give it one more shot. All right, check this out. I just walked in the door at home. You can see I've got battery and I've got flashlight. And of course, the most important thing, I've got a charge. You can see right there, I've got a charge out of that port. Now, let's switch it. Turn this off. Put it in the other port. Yep. So we've got a charge on that one too. And it worked. So I was really, really happy with the fact that even though leaving that door open, you can see I've got my charging going on right now, that this thing took it and didn't have a problem with it. Now what I don't know is if the moisture got in there. Well, I do know that. But did it affect it temporarily, or was it just the cold of that river of going in over and over and over again? Regardless, is that door was open and this is working. And ever since then, it's been about a week now since I've done that. It's worked flawlessly and I don't have a problem with it at all. So this thing is really quite robust. Now, in doing my research on this, I saw a lot of testing from other people, and they're testing this thing hard, and it really, really holds up. So this is a very, very robust piece of kit. And for the type of stuff that I do, the type of stuff I know you guys do, this is going to take it, and the vast majority of it, it's going to shrug it off. One of the downsides I can see to this is going to be that it's not solar. So if you're out for an extended period of time, you aren't going to be able to recharge this until you get to an outlet. So it's a downside, and on some level it may not be a downside, because then you're not going to have to carry extra stuff with you, i.e. the solar panels, to then charge this. So it kind of depends on how you look at it. And I love solar, guys, I really do. But sometimes solar isn't all it's cracked up to be, because if it's overcast, if it's raining, you're on a long trip like that, well, your solar is not going to do anything, and now you're carrying a bunch of weight. So you can look at it kind of two different ways. It's a bad thing it's not solar, and and then maybe on some level it's good that it's not. This charge is going to run you about $100 at least the time of filming this. Dark Energy has graciously offered you guys, my viewers, a 10% discount, and that should be running for quite a while. Now I'm going to try and get this edited and uploaded quickly before Christmas so that you can either use this as a suggestion for a Christmas present for yourself, or you can pick this up for somebody else. I've been really happy with this. It's such a durable piece. It comes in real handy for all those things that I mentioned for in the past, especially for that backcountry travel. I'm using it constantly with all the electronic equipment I have. So again, I will put the link down below in the description box of where you can get this, and then I'll put the 10% off code right here, and jump on it, guys, because this is a good deal if you're looking for something like this in this market. As always, thanks for watching. See you.